The rain hammered down on the cracked asphalt of the bus stop in downtown Seattle, each drop a cold pinprick against the skin of the woman huddled on the wooden bench. Her name was Emily Carter, 32 years old, though the lines etched around her eyes made her look a decade older tonight. Her dark hair clung to her forehead in wet strands, and her green jacket, once a proud thrift store find, was now soaked through, heavy as guilt. Beside her sat a worn canvas backpack, its zipper half broken, spilling out a corner of a child's coloring book. She stared at the ground, watching the water pool around her scuffed boots, trying not to think about the eviction notice folded in her pocket or the voicemail from her sister that she hadn't listened to in 3 days. Across from her, under the flickering fluorescent light of the shelter, stood her daughter, Lily. 5 years old, pink hoodie zipped to her chin, clutching a stuffed unicorn named Sparkles that had lost one eye somewhere between Portland and here. Lily's small fingers worried the frayed mane of the toy, her gaze fixed on the man kneeling before her. He was Detective Marcus Reed, badge clipped to his belt, trench coat dark with rain. His knees cracked as he crouched to Lily's level, the sound swallowed by the downpour. He held out a small paper bag from the 24-hour pharmacy 2 blocks over, bandages, a bottle of children's pain reliever, a chocolate bar he'd grabbed on impulse. Lily took the bag with both hands, peeking inside like it might vanish. Is mommy okay? She whispered, her voice barely audible over the rain. Marcus glanced at Emily. She hadn't moved, hadn't looked up. Her hands were clasped so tightly her knuckles were white. She's just tired, kiddo, he said, forcing warmth into his tone. Long day. Lily nodded solemnly, as if she understood long days. She probably did. They'd been on the Greyhound for 14 hours, transferred twice, and Emily had carried her the last 3 blocks when Lily's legs gave out. The unicorn had been her only constant companion. Marcus stood, rain dripping from the brim of his hat. He'd been off duty when the call came in, domestic disturbance at the Greyhound station, possible child endangerment. He'd almost let it go to patrol. But the dispatcher mentioned a little girl with a unicorn, and something in his chest had twisted. His own daughter, Sophie, had a unicorn phase. Still did, at 7. The thought of her out here, cold and scared, had propelled him into his car. He approached Emily slowly, boots splashing through puddles. Ma'am, he said, voice low. I'm Detective Reed. Seattle PD. Emily's shoulders stiffened. She didn't look up. We're fine, she muttered. You're not, he said, not unkindly. You're soaked, your kid's shivering, and you missed the last bus to the shelter on Yesler. Her head snapped up then, eyes sharp despite the exhaustion. How do you? I know the routes, he said. I know the shelters. I know when someone's running. Emily's jaw tightened. She glanced at Lily, who was now sitting on the bench, legs swinging, unicorn pressed to her chest. We're not running, she said. We're relocating. Marcus crouched again, this time beside the bench. Up close, he could see the bruise blooming along Emily's jaw, faint but fresh. Her left eye was slightly swollen. Who hit you? He asked quietly. She looked away. Doesn't matter. It does to me. Emily laughed, a bitter sound. You don't know me, detective. You don't know what matters. I know your kid's scared, he said. I know you're out of options. And I know the women's shelter on Yesler is full tonight, but there's a church on Pine that takes walk-ins. They've got cots, hot food, and a social worker who owes me a favor. Emily's fingers twitched toward her backpack, then stopped. Why are you doing this? Because I have a daughter, he said simply. And because I've seen what happens when no one does. Silence stretched between them, broken only by the rain and the distant wail of a siren. Finally, Emily nodded, once. Okay. Marcus stood, offering his hand. She took it, her grip surprisingly strong. He helped her up, then scooped Lily into his arms without asking. The little girl didn't protest, just wrapped her arms around his neck, unicorn dangling against his back. They walked the 6 blocks to St. James Episcopal, Marcus carrying Lily, Emily trailing with the backpack. The church's side door was unlocked, as promised. Inside, the basement smelled of coffee and old hymnals. A volunteer named Marisol, gray hair, kind eyes, met them with blankets and questions she didn't ask out loud. Marcus set Lily down on a cot. She was asleep within minutes, unicorn tucked under her arm. Emily sat beside her, staring at her daughter's face like she was memorizing it. You should get some rest, Marcus said. Emily shook her head. I can't. Not yet. He understood. He'd seen it before, the hypervigilance, the fear that if you closed your eyes, everything would vanish. I'll stay, he said. Just till morning. She looked at him then, really looked. Why? Because I can, he said. And because someone should. Hours passed. Marcus dozed in a plastic chair, waking every time Emily shifted. At 3 a.m., she finally spoke. His name was Derek, she said, voice barely above a whisper. We met in Tacoma. He was charming. Said all the right things. Then Lily came, and the charm ran out. Marcus didn't interrupt. He started with yelling. Then the shoving. Then, she touched her jaw. I stayed too long. Thought I could fix him. Thought Lily needed a dad. But last week, he threw her toy across the room because she wouldn't stop crying. That was it. I packed a bag while he was at work. Took the first bus out. Marcus nodded. You did the right thing. Did I? Her voice cracked. I have $43. No job. No plan. I dragged my kid across state lines in the rain. You kept her safe, he said. That's the plan. Dawn crept through the basement windows, gray and watery. Marisol brought oatmeal and orange juice. Lily woke up confused but hungry, eating 2 bowls without complaint. Emily managed half a cup of coffee. Marcus made calls. The social worker, Jenna, arrived by 9, sharp suit, sharper eyes. She listened to Emily's story without judgment, then pulled Marcus aside. She's got a cousin in Spokane, Jenna said. Willing to take them in temporarily. I can get bus tickets. But she needs a safety plan. Restraining order. Job leads. I'll help, Marcus said. Jenna raised an eyebrow. You always this invested in strangers. Only the ones with unicorns, he said. By noon, paperwork was underway. Emily signed forms with a trembling hand. Lily colored a picture of a rainbow on church bulletin paper. Marcus bought them lunch from the deli across the street. Turkey sandwiches, apple slices, chocolate milk for Lily. As they waited for the afternoon bus, Emily pulled Marcus aside. I don't know how to thank you. You don't, he said. Just be okay. Both of you. She hugged him then, quick and fierce. Lily tugged his sleeve. Will you visit Sparkles? She asked. Marcus knelt. Anytime, kiddo. The bus pulled up, exhaust mixing with the rain. Emily boarded first, then turned back. Detective Reed. Marcus, he corrected. Marcus, she said. You gave us a second chance. I won't waste it. He watched them go, the bus disappearing into the Seattle haze. His phone buzzed, Sophie's school, reminding him of parent-teacher conferences. He smiled, pocketing it. Back at the precinct, his partner, Alvarez, raised an eyebrow. Heard you played hero last night. Marcus shrugged. Just did my job. Alvarez snorted. Your job doesn't include buying chocolate milk and unicorns. Marcus didn't answer. He was already pulling Emily's file, Derek's last known address, priors for assault, a warrant out of Pierce County. He'd make a call. Ensure the restraining order stuck. Check in with Jenna next week. Because second chances weren't just for strangers. They were for daughters with one-eyed unicorns and mothers who'd finally chosen themselves. And sometimes, they were for detectives who remembered what it felt like to be 5 and scared in the rain. Outside, the clouds parted. A sliver of sunlight hit the wet pavement, turning it gold. Marcus stepped into it, coat unbuttoned, badge catching the light. Somewhere across the state, a little girl was clutching her unicorn, and her mother was learning how to breathe again. And that, he thought, was enough.